So in a credit committee at LendInvest, it's an opportunity for all stakeholders in the business to give their views on a new inquiry that we've come through. Generally, we do a credit committee for sites that are of £5 million exposure or more. And the relationship manager, so myself, would present the inquiry to the wider business and the relevant people that are on the committee, and we get input from all different functions within the business, so treasury, credit obviously, and other members of the development team. And we tend to try and keep them positive. They're very much a way to do business rather than to not do business, and really it just helps us understand the best way to structure a scheme. The most common question we're asked by borrowers is often around how quickly they can receive funds. In all seriousness, it's a really important part of it for developers. Cash flow really is king for them, and we pride ourselves on being able to release construction drawdowns efficiently, making sure that we're proactive with those kind of things. Ultimately, that will only benefit the development, so it's quite key for us to get that right, and it inevitably, like I say, will benefit the performance of the scheme. The question that we probably hear the most from brokers is around the client's experience and whether it's sufficient in line with our lending criteria. It's quite a subjective point, experience. It comes in all different shapes and sizes. Generally, we will want to see a client that's completed developments previously in their own right, of a similar size and in a similar location. But it is very much a case-by-case basis. So we like to discuss that with the broker and the client, ensure that we're understanding their background fully and making an informed choice of whether we can support the scheme. At a very early stage, it's important that the client produces an appraisal well and neatly and professionally. That can be a red flag if they haven't, because it probably shows that they haven't necessarily put enough thought into the development. It might seem like something relatively small, but actually it gives us a good test as a lender, especially when working with a new client, as to whether they understand their area, whether they understand the project that they're undertaking. It ultimately makes the transaction move more seamlessly as well. We try and front load a lot of our due diligence, and it's easiest to do that when we understand the nuts and bolts of a transaction very early on, and often that only comes from speaking directly with the client. So we really like to do that, set up a call as early as possible, visit site as early as possible, and really understand what the quirks of the deal might be, because there are quirks naturally. We understand that our position as a lender is to look at those kind of schemes, more often than not, and actually that's fine. We can find ways to mitigate risks, but it's best that we see those in a tidy and an efficient manner very early on to make an informed choice on that. I guess the cases I'm generally most proud of are ones that are local to me. I live down in the southeast, and it's always nice to walk past a development that you've helped to fund and help build, and ultimately see people that are using the end units and living in them and giving people an opportunity to get on the housing market. So I take a lot of pride and enjoyment from that. LendInvest is quite a unique lender in that we've been around for a while, but we do have certain benefits from not being a bank. We can be pretty nimble with our funding sources, and we're constantly finding new funding lines to fund a variety of opportunities in line with the current market trends. I think what does set us apart though is our post-completion management. We have a full team of portfolio managers that work closely with the relationship managers like myself. We stay involved on the scheme from day one to the day that it's repaid. And that goes a long way for developers. They need someone to support them through a scheme and work through any issues that they might have, and having that two sort of singular points of contact at that stage is vital for a developer. So I think we do that really well, and it hopefully rings true when you look at our level of retained business. Aggressive, necessary and efficient.